Crazies, the remake of the George Romero classic. Remember there was that whole thing with 28 Days Later, the question about whether or not they were zombies or not. So they're not zombies, they're infected, because they're not dead, they're infected, right? Well, of course, the original Romero Crazies is exactly that thing. They're not dead, they're infected, although many people refer to it as a zombie movie because Romero made Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, Day of the Dead. He is generally regarded as the zombie king, and the Crazies therefore fits within the zombie pantheon, but they aren't zombies because they aren't dead. So essentially, story of the remake, same premise as the story of the original, rural backwater town. People start behaving weirdly, as in this clip in which Timothy Olyphant, the fine Timothy Olyphant, at a huge local event, suddenly guy walks onto a playing field in a state of, shall we say, disarray.
Rory! Whoa. Hey, Rory, we got a ball game going on here. We're playing ball, you come out with a gun? What the hell are you doing? Oh, Rory, now you're drunk. That's all. All right, let's just lay the gun down. Rory, lay the gun down. Lay it down. Now, Rory, come on. Whoa. Rory, you lay that gun down. Rory? Oh, my God.
Did he lay the gun down?
You can see from that it's not dialogue heavy. Here's the thing with the Crazies. I actually rather enjoyed it. It's directed by the same guy who directed Sahara, which was a bit of a surprise. And it isn't the original by quite some distance. Nigel Floyd said something, and I will credit him with this remark because he was quite right. He said his main problem with it was this, that the original Crazies is about people, townsfolk, turning on each other. And the remake Crazies is about townsfolk being turned on by the army. And therefore the central horror of families turning in against themselves, townsfolk turning in, is redirected into people being hunted down by the army. And I understand that is perfectly fine, and that's true. And I think therefore a central paranoia of the original has been undercut. There is certainly no suggestion, and I wouldn't make the suggestion, that the remake of the Crazies has anything like the depth or the sociological clout of the originals, largely because if you look at any Romero film from that period, they are very political, they are very, very sociologically aware. I mean, they are horror films, but they are horror films with real substance, brains, not just brawn. This has a lot of brawn. It doesn't have the brains that the original does. It does, however, have a cranked up level of apocalyptic sort of nihilism. And
run that phrase again.
A cranked up level of apocalyptic nihilism.
Nice.
Because there is that same underlying grim sense that you get in the Romero film that everything is not going to be all right. Everything is not going to be all right ever again. And that I like and that I admire. This plays much more like a crowd pleasing. I mean, it's the kind of thing that you'd play at Shock Around the Clock or a horror festival when basically you've got a bunch of slightly antsy horror fans and you want to show them something that delivers meat and two veg, and there it is, and it does it in a fairly stylish way. And it's pretty full on. It's fairly, thoroughgoing horror. It's not going to last in the way that the Romero does, and it's not in 10 years' time it's probably going to be a footnote and a forgettable footnote. But for the time that I was watching it, I thought it was actually pretty good. I thought it was exciting. I do like Timothy Olyphant. Timothy's very, very interesting, very good at playing, dark characters. They look nice, they look handsome, but actually they've got something else going. He's very good at putting himself in movies which are better than you expect them to be. Yes, it's generic. Yes, it's production. Yes, it is another horror update of a film which probably didn't need updating. But having said all that, I thought it was one of the better ones, and I did like the level of, as I said, apocalyptic nihilism and the fact that it doesn't bottle out of knowing that in the end, bad is good.